Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. All right, so let's talk Lakers Clippers tonight. The Lakers and the Clippers are obviously going to be playing a game at the Crow. It's going to be a Clipper floor, Clipper home game. And I just checked the injury report and it said that LeBron James is questionable. Now, my understanding is that he's out, so I'm going to be operating from a position of expecting him not to play. But yeah, that's what it said. Questionable. I was kind of surprised by that. But anyway. We know for a fact that Ivica Zubac for the Los Angeles Clippers will be out, which means you got to deal with Isaiah Hartenstein, which is not a good thing because I know that Isaiah Hartenstein can play. I know that. If you follow me, you know I've been talking about Isaiah Hartenstein, or Hartenstein, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing his name wrong, since he was a Cleveland Cavalier on the back of the bench. He's somebody who can do a lot of things, and I think his best basketball is ahead of him. And tonight is a night that he could act a fool and be ready for that. The thing about the Los Angeles Clippers, man, is they don't have a star right now. Obviously, we know who their stars are, and they're both out. Paul George is out with an injury. It's going to keep him out for a lot longer, from what I understand, and same goes for Kawhi Leonard, of course. But they're finding guys, man. There's a guy by the name of Brandon Boston, or BJ Boston. I never really quite know. I think it's Brandon Boston. His name is Boston, and he's balling. And he's somebody who's finding his way. They've got them one, as they say. You got to deal with this young man. I'm looking forward to learning more about his game. All I know is what his stats are, and he's giving them a lot in a lot of areas, scoring the ball, playing defense, and things of that nature. So I'm more so looking to learn. But I know his name is starting to ring bells across the league as a big-time young rookie, and he's exciting, very exciting for the Clips. Reggie Jackson's been balling. He's playing well right now. He's really resurged himself since the playoffs, early playoffs last year. He really had a fantastic Western Conference Finals. And he's carried that over. They've been playing great with him. They have Eric Bledsoe there, who's kind of, up and down, but he's been another cog in their machine that is helping them continue to move along the way. I gotta say, man, the Clippers have done some things that have made me respect them. Now, I don't like them at all. They're definitely ops. In fact, they're my most hated team, not named the Celtics. But if you just remove the team name, you remove the fact they're in our city, remove the history and all this nonsense, and you just leave them with those 12 guys and their coaching staff, it's a lot to respect right there. And it has been since Ty Lue has gotten there. He gets the most out of whoever's out on the floor. He makes sure he makes adjustments as he sees them, not necessarily sticking with a game plan like who coach. And this guy is just going to continue to make his young players better and give the players that he has on his team that are veterans opportunities to look better, not worse. So in my mind, and I think about guys like Greg Popovich. I think about other coaches as well. But in my mind, in today's basketball, that's your best coach in the NBA, man, Ty Lue. And I'm telling you, we dropped the ball as the Los Angeles Lakers not signing him on to a deal. I don't know what the numbers were, but whatever it's worth, he's extended his price since then. Whatever his price was when we were sitting there giving him a birthday cake thinking he was going to be the Laker coach, because I haven't forgotten about that, you got to pay him more. Clippers going to have to pay him more to resign him. His legend is only growing, and I think he's not done winning championships. Fact of the matter is, the Los Angeles Lakers are in the complete opposite position. Our coach is not very good. In fact, he should have been fired about 2 months ago. He does not make adjustments. He doesn't help the young players. There's a lot of different things I can say about Frank Vogel that's already been said, and I don't expect to see a whole lot of good out of him, and I expect the Clippers to beat us because of it. At the end of the day, I always say the Lakers, they're going to leave the door open for you. The question is whether or not you're going to walk through it. And so tonight, I'm expecting that. I'm expecting that. Now, what I have enjoyed from the Los Angeles Lakers is Anthony Davis's return. Y'all know I've been bashing AD the first half of the season. I thought he looked like a horrible shell of himself. Didn't look like he was motivated. Didn't look like he was happy. Didn't look like he really cared too much at all. It just seemed like his body was moving slow. Didn't look like he really taking care of himself in the offseason. I don't know what the heck was going on, but he has turned all of that around since coming back from this injury, and now I'm saying the complete opposite. He has helped us win games. He has been a great catalyst for what we're doing. Rebounding the ball, blocking shots, scoring the ball, being the superstar that we know he is. I am so very happy to be in a position to sing the praises of Anthony Davis once again. And so that's where we're at. LeBron James held us down, keeping us at 500 while AD was out. Now LeBron James is out, and AD is giving us an opportunity to see that he can do the same thing. And that is a very, very, very serious luxury that a lot of teams don't have. I think the Los Angeles Clippers, if they had an AD right now, they would be that much better, because that's what they're lacking, is a superstar to help the catalyst of those young players and that great coach. And that blue collar squad that they have right now. They are in a position to still make the playoffs despite having both of their superstars out. And I think that is a credit to all of those guys. So it's a situation where, fact of the matter is, we're losing ground, man. We were lucky to win the game last night against the Portland Trailblazers, of whom we're battling for that 8th spot, 9th spot, 10th spot, whatever, play-in tournament spot. And we didn't play our best basketball. We had a lead early on, looked really good to start the game, had a lot of good things going for us. But then, of course, rotations, lineups, things of that nature, Coach Vogel's stuff. He made sure he kept the door open as he always does. Putting, Carmelo Anthony at the center position and stuff like that. Just stuff that's going to lead you to losing. He's going to do. Russell Westbrook didn't play his best game, even though he had 13 big assists and some rebounds, almost a triple-double. At the end of the day, we had a lot of turnovers from him, bad shot selection, just bad Westbrook. And you just come to understand that in a perfect world, you have to just monitor him and THT particularly for how they're playing that day. If they're playing well, you give them their minutes. If they're not playing well, you have to sit them. Unfortunately, that's not how Coach plays them. He plays Dwight Howard that way. And that's actually not necessary to play Dwight Howard that way, because every time you put him on the floor, he tends to do things that you need him to do. Rebounding the ball, getting second chance shots up, and ultimately being a catalyst for our defense in rebounding and things of that nature when he's on the floor. He had 11 minutes in yesterday's game with 10 points and 7 rebounds. No coach that I know of is going to have a player playing that well and sit him that much. If you would have had Dwight out there for the whole game, do you know how many of his stats would have looked like if he would have kept up that production? Do you have any idea how great of a game he was having at his age? This is a great player. And Hall of Famer, someone who should be a top 75, even though he was snubbed on that. Nobody takes that 75 list seriously because him and Klay Thompson are not on it. And that starts here. I'm not taking it seriously. That ain't no top 75 list. That's some crap right there. That's some political garbage. That's what that is. But anyway, to get back to it, the point is we were able to get those 7 rebounds out of him, and it helped us a lot. And if we would have played him more, he probably would have had a legendary game for his age at this stage in his career. Of course, his coach got in the way of that. Played guys who didn't help us that much, and we were lucky to win the game because Portland played that much worse. So that was about as pessimistic of a win as you'll ever see it coming out of me. I just was not happy about my team at all. I did love what I saw from Carmelo Anthony when he wasn't playing the center position, but everybody else besides him and AD just didn't really have their best game out there, man. And of course, Dwight Howard knows 11 minutes. THT's been struggling. Our boy Austin Reeves, AR-15's been struggling. Malik Monk has been a little inconsistent since coming back from the injury. He'll have one amazing game, then another bad game, and an amazing game, and a bad game. Hopefully, after coming off a bad game, he'll have an amazing game. We didn't shoot the free throw very well, even though on the road we had some games where we shot 100% from the free throw line, which was just amazing to me. Lately, we've fallen back to where we usually are in the 60%, 70% range. Yesterday was a very bad free throw game for us. So just the inconsistency of this team, the inconsistency of our rotations, the amount of dead weight on our roster, guys that we just know we cannot play, DJ, Trevor Ariza, Bazemore, guys that just should not be in the NBA right now, unfortunately. Our coach loves to play Avery Bradley. Y'all know I don't like that. I talk about it all the time. Even though Avery Bradley does have some good moments here and there, he's just relied upon a bit too much for my liking, especially in the starting lineup. It's just not necessary to have him out there like that. He's a nice role player at this stage in his career, can help us in second units, especially against lesser talents. He can really lock them up. But this guy wants to put him on guys that can really blow past him, and it just doesn't put him in the best positions to succeed, in my opinion. But even in that, he still finds a way to be effective. I just hope that he's able to hit his corner three a bit better than he's been able to show in the recent past, because back in 2020, that was something we relied upon a great deal, and lately it's just not falling like we needed to. So, I would prefer him give those minutes to Malik Monk, to Austin Reeves, but that's just my preference. So, at the end of the day, we're looking at a situation where I think the Lakers are definitely not in a position to dominate the Clippers. I don't see that. And I just think I look at them as a better team. We do have the better player on the floor, though, with Anthony Davis, and that should help us. I expect him to have a big night tonight, but it's going to take a big night from him in order for us to knock off this team that just plays well together. They got a bunch of guys that are going to be ready for us tonight. They playing against the Lakers. You know what I mean? And it's a home floor for them, and they know they're favored to win. So I expect them to do what they need to do to give themselves their best opportunity. As far as everything else is concerned, again, if LeBron James is able to go, that changes everything. If he's able to suit him up and go, we obviously feel like we can definitely push past this team with AD and Braun on the floor and Westbrook on the floor. That's what our team is supposed to look like. But we haven't seen that all year, so on and so forth. As far as the Los Angeles Clippers concerned, I didn't take a look at their roster like that, but I know they have a bunch of blue-collar guys that are going to come at us with full force and a whole lot of cohesiveness to how they play. We want to try to guard the perimeter. They're going to shoot the ball. Got to look out for a guy by the name of Nicholas Batum, who will be out there. He's a Swiss Army knife, has been in this league for a while now, but he's still somebody who's giving you major production in all three categories: rebounding, points, and assists. I think also some defensive prowess as well. So we know that's a Swiss Army knife that you have to take seriously. He could potentially have a big game tonight. A guy by the name of I'm not really sure if they're playing Serge Ibaka. I don't know if he's in their rotation. Last I checked, he was hurt. I think he's since come back. I didn't see his name on the injury report. He's somebody who I'm looking to see where he's at right now in his career. I haven't paid any attention to him, but I know he's obviously somebody who can hit a mid-range shot. I know he's somebody who's obviously known for blocking shots. Back in the day when he was with OKC, he was a big-time player, but I just don't know where he's at right now. But this is one of those games where a guy like that wakes up and plays well out of nowhere. So, you just want to keep your eye on each and every player on that roster. That's what it really comes down to. The Los Angeles Clippers are not to be trifled with in any way, shape, or form. And that Boston kid is definitely going to try to make a name for himself tonight. THT has been a player who we really, really, really have had troubles with. He's not playing great basketball. A lot of his decisions in basketball IQ decisions, I guess you can say, have been poor. Shot selection has not been where we want it to be. But we also know of him to be someone who can become a Swiss Army knife, similar to Nicholas Batum. And I just feel like somewhere in all of this, we're going to see THT have a massive, massive game. Even though he's been playing his worst ball, it seems like he's having a horrible season for his standards. Even in the limited time that he's played in his career, this has been the worst stretch of basketball I think we've seen him play. But I know somewhere in him is a massive game. And I'm talking 30 points, 8 assists, 8 rebounds, LeBron numbers. He can do that. He's capable of that. One of these days, whether it be for the Lakers or for another team, he's going to play well. So just know that. In all of his struggles, I'm not saying he's going to play well tonight. Probably not. We haven't seen a lot of good from him. But someday random, you're going to see what I'm talking about. He can do it. It's just a matter of, will he do it under Frank Vogel? That's the question. And I think that's really what it comes down to. When you look at what, how the prime example and the most telling example for me is watching how Kuzma's playing in Washington right now. Is anybody watching what's going on in Washington with Kuz? Blocking shots, clutch shots, hitting, getting boards. He looks like an all-star. He's filling up the box score in ways he never filled up for us. Not even at his best way did he ever play the way he's been playing these last couple weeks for the Washington Wizards. I know, even though nobody's going to say it, I know that has a direct correlation to how Frank Vogel's offense is run. Every single body who ever plays in this rotation, in his offense, plays better when they leave it. All of them. Name him? Yes. And so that's why I'm under the mindset that THT2 will probably play well in a different system because it's consistent. That's what always happens. So we got to understand that the best thing for the Los Angeles Lakers to do besides creating some cap space through trade is to get rid of Franklin Vogel. There's nothing more important for the Los Angeles Lakers outside of getting rid of Westbrook's contract than firing Frank Vogel. And we're dragging our feet, and we're going to continue to be a sub-500 team until we do that. I am pressing that line harder than anything else in the NBA right now because I know it's a solution to our issues. Now, who we replace him with is very, very important. There's a guy by the name of Dave Yeager who's come back. Praise God, he's beat cancer. He's back. I wouldn't mind giving him a look. I know the Sacramento Kings didn't keep him. They probably should have. He's had some good days in Memphis. I'm not saying he's a greatest coach in the world, but what I'm saying is there's a head coach who's just reemerged ready to go. Maybe we should give him a look. I don't know if he's better. I don't know. But we got to do something to replace this man. I can't stress it enough. This is very serious. I'm a Laker fan of 29 years. Frank Vogel's one of the worst coaches we ever had. I'm serious. And that's it. That is the end of it. So, as far as the Clippers are concerned, look, they're undermanned. They're not the most talented team, but they do have a lot to prove, and they play well together under a fantastic coach. If you don't push the right buttons tonight, they're going to beat you. Even if you do push the right buttons tonight, they may beat you. That's how good of a coach he is. You saw how the Atlanta Hawks coached against us, how they made adjustments from one half of the game to the next, putting certain players in lineups on the floor. Look for Ty Lue to do the same. He's going to make adjustments from quarter to quarter. The team that they're going to be in the first half, if it ain't working, you will see different lineups and different solutions there in the second half. Plays coming out of timeouts, offensive plays, defensive plays. I expect to see Ty Lue in rare form tonight, just simply because of how that tenure went with the Lakers and seeing how we're struggling while he's with the Clippers right now. He knows this is supposed to be his job. He knows he could probably win a championship with LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and what have you. And he's stuck in LA with the Clippers in a lesser situation. No matter how you slice it, it's a lesser situation. But he's made more out of it. He's been the solution to that, and because of it, they are in fact better than us, even when they're not supposed to be. So that's what I got to say, man. I hope the Lakers are able to finally grow some and make the moves necessary. I hear a lot of chatter about different stuff that ain't got nothing to do with what's going on in the court. Obviously, we're hearing a lot about Jerry West. That's a non-story to me. I don't care nothing about him getting no tickets. I know a lot of people are like, oh, you don't do that to Jerry West. Jerry West is a Clipper, man. You should have front row seats at Clipper games every night. That's the only thing you should be caring about. I don't know why you're talking about the Lakers. Don't talk about us, bro. You ain't with us no more. That's it. Literally, I don't care. That's my attitude as it pertains to Jerry West. I respect what you did for us, the one championship you won, and the many times you went to the finals. That was a different era. You got a Shaq and Kobe. Love that aspect too. That was a different era. Whatever happened behind the scenes between you and Jeannie, or whatever happened between you and those, Kurt, I don't know who's running the show over there. You and LeBron, I don't know who don't like you, bro, but I know you've been talking a lot of crap for us to listen to as fans. So if you want me to root for you, the first thing you need to do is leave that organization. Until then, you opt. I don't care. Literally don't care. You're in the rafters. You know what I'm saying? We've given you what you've earned, which is your number 44, my number 44 in the rafters. You earned that. We gave it to you. We don't owe you nothing else. Anything that Dr. Bus gave you, whatever, that's y'all business, man. If his daughter don't want you to have that, she's on the team now, bro. That's it. Maybe if you would have had better things to say about us, we would have better things to do for you. Hey, I as a fan, I don't care. I really don't care. Because I've heard what he had to say. It ain't been nothing good. And it was hurtful. We're Laker fans. You're the logo. You're one of our first NBA stars. And I ain't heard you say a good thing about our team or our organization in years. Went over there to be a consultant for our ops and talk crap the entire time. And you want me to fight for you to get your season tickets? I don't even want you in the building. You're in the building for the Clippers. That's where you belong. That's how I feel. Anyway, that's what I want to say about that. So yeah, man, we're going up against one of our most hated ops tonight at the end of the day. I got a lot of respect for who they are right now. The 2021, 2022 Los Angeles Clippers are not to be trifled with, not to be made fun of, not to be, hated on or what have you. But at the end of the day, they are the Clippers. And there's a great deal of joy in watching them lose, especially when we cause it. Unfortunately, all it has to be put on hold because we are our own worst enemy every night. Not the other team. It's Franklin Vogel and his decisions that we're really up against every night. So at this point, it's like until we fix our own problems, it doesn't matter what we doing in regards to the other team. We can run up against the other team, play our best. Once he puts that small ball lineup on the floor, once he starts trying to go with DJ and putting Carmelo Anthony at the 5, the real thing that we're actually defending against is him. So it doesn't matter what the team's doing. It doesn't matter what the opponent's doing. It has to do with what Franklin's going to do. And when Franklin decides it's time to give the game back, you best believe the other team's going to have an opportunity to walk through that door. So I am no longer a patient Laker fan. I'm no longer a lively spokesperson for the team. No, I am advocating for certain changes. Until those changes are made, that's going to be what you hear out of my mouth. Because I love my team that much. And I'm not for bad eras. I'm not for dragging my feet as it pertains to stopping the bleeding on certain situations, as it pertains to us being an inept basketball squad. And I know, after watching this team as many seasons as I have, I know when it's the team's fault, when it's the roster's fault, and when it's just the coach making bad decisions. It's a combination of all three. But it starts with that coach because he was given what he has. And he's not getting the most out of it. In fact, he's doing worse with it than most coaches would, in my opinion. So, that's what it is, man. You know, I'd love to tell you more about the Clippers. I'm pretty sure there's a player that I'm not mentioning that's going to go off because that's been a running theme for me lately. But at the same time, it's one of those situations where it's like, look, bottom line is they got a team 12 deep. None of them are superstars, but all of them can beat you. And it's because of how they're arranged on that floor and because of how they run their system. So expect Ty Lue to shine tonight. Look, if LeBron James can go, this is the game to go, bro. Because to be honest with you, we're playing AD in a back-to-back, betraying what it is that we're supposed to be doing. We know damn well we should not be playing AD in no damn back-to-backs. Let's just put that out there right now. We are in a position where we have to do so because of how bad we've played and where we're at in our schedule. But I would prefer us stay true to that because we need Anthony Davis to be healthy, not just now, but throughout the rest of the season, plus whatever playoff opportunities may be available to us. We cannot ask him to do too much just because we need him to do too much. Why? Because he's our most important asset. Literally. He's the guy that's going to get us the best return. If he goes down because we're overexerting him or having him banging with players that he has no business banging with, playing the center position for which he should not be playing, not because he doesn't have the size, but because he doesn't have the mentality to be a center, never has, then we're going to find him in a situation that we find LeBron in, wearing down because of all that banging, because of all of that leaning on him to be what it is that we ultimately shouldn't be asking him to do in the first place. AD is a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Power forward position. That is what I believe AD's best at. He can dominate, rim protect, rebound, play the perimeter, play the inside, all that against fours. Any 4 in this league you think is going to dominate AD, is going to get ate up by AD. He's the best 4, arguably, in all of basketball. But when you put him at the 5, you're evening up the score because he's not a physical guy like that. He's not the dude that's going to be banging around, you know what I mean? He's not. And so when you put him in those positions, you put him at an injury risk, no different than LeBron James. I think it's ever so important that the Los Angeles Lakers believe this and act accordingly. Unfortunately, just like with other points that I've already made, they're going to do the opposite because that's what they're prone to do right now. It's just a lot of ineptitude, a lot of losing type of decisions that we make. There's certain things that the Lakers have done lately that just make you understand that, okay, if you want to learn how to lose, you do this. You know what I mean? Some of the shot selection that we've had, particularly Russell Westbrook and THT shot selection specifically, you want to learn how to lose, it's how you do it. Watch them. They'll tell you exactly how to give the game away. It's that kind of stuff that just gets to me so much because I know how the game's supposed to be played. I've seen really great basketball, just like the rest of us have. I've seen really bad basketball. And this is really bad. It's just how you lose. So, you know, you press the wrong buttons, you get the wrong results. And so on and so forth. So, yeah, you guys, I hope you're not tired of me, man. I got a lot of pessimism. Not too happy about the Los Angeles Lakers right now, but I'm an honest person as it pertains to this team. I don't have any problem telling you when we're the best team in the league when we are. I'll sing our praise and say, look, nobody can see us. Everybody who comes against us is going to have to lose. And every game we're expected to win, and I demand that. But this ain't that. This is the year where you say, okay, what are we going to do to get in our own way? How are we going to give the game away tonight? We're going to get a lead, and we're going to give it back. And how you know how that's going to happen? The rotations that we put on the floor. It's every night. It's every night. And it don't matter how big the lead is. What I'm worried about is there's going to be a game where the Lakers have like a 30-point lead, and they're going to lose that game because of what it is that I just described. Because we always find ways to give the games back. It's just, and it's not always the player's fault, man. I'm telling you, it's what you choose to put them in positions to do. Now, Stanley Johnson, somebody I'm looking forward to playing better. He didn't have his greatest game last night. Malik Monk, same thing. Did not have his greatest game. You know, he played poorly. That's uncharacteristic for a lot of our young guys. We don't usually have them all play bad at once, and we definitely don't always have them play bad at once and win that game. So yesterday was a big-time blessing for our franchise to win that particular game. And you just don't want to play around as it pertains to thinking that that's going to be the norm. Portland played especially horrible, no different than Utah did that game when we beat them. Especially horrible. And those are the games that we're ultimately finding ways to win. I'm happy about that, but we don't expect that tonight. You know, you do expect Reggie Jackson to go off. You do expect for a guy like Boston to have a big game. You do expect for Hartenstein with big minutes without Ivica Zubac to play well. You do expect that a guy like, Nicholas Batum is going to go and have a game that is memorable in regards to helping his team. So you just have to offset that with the great play of Anthony Davis, and guys who are put in positions to do things that they're not good at are going to have to excel at those things that they're asked to do. It just is what it is. That's what it comes down to. And I don't know how you do that. You know, when you put Stanley Johnson on a 6'10 guy, he's going to have to find a way to get stops. You know, when you put Austin Reeves on the floor with no shooters, he's going to have to be the guy that hits the shots. This is the kind of stuff that just is going to happen. These are the type of things that we've had happen. You know, a guy like, Russell Westbrook, we're going to need him to make good decisions. You know, it's like you're asking guys to do things that respectfully they're not prone to do. And then so I want us to take these responsibilities out of these players' hands. Put players in positions to do things that they are good at. You know, keep players on the floor that can help you. Make life easy on yourself by playing Dwight and AD together. I promise, AD and Dwight are going to beat just about anybody. They're both excellent shot blockers. They both rebound the ball very well together. They're obviously going to get second chance points left and right. They're both smart basketball players. Why does this man refuse to play them together, but doesn't see how harmful playing THT and Westbrook together are? This guy will start everybody he shouldn't, but won't try stuff that he sees puts us in a position to have a plus minus in the right direction. You know, these are good plus minus decisions. His decisions are bad plus minus decisions. It just is what it is, man. I don't know. I'm done complaining. I'm sorry. I am. My name is BDF44. Looking forward to this game. Hopefully the Lakers can prove me wrong. I'd love to be wrong. I want Franklin Vogel to have an excellent coaching night. I want to see him out-coach Ty Lue because Vogel is our coach. But the reality is, after watching 50-plus games of this already, you know what you're going to see. You know what you're going to see. It's just a question of whether or not the Clippers are going to take advantage and get themselves a victory on their home floor. My name is BDF44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.